are you a fast learner? I said, yes. So they kind of both looked at each other and they were like, okay, if we hire you, we're going to hire you on a performance projection plan. You basically have 3 months to figure it out. If it doesn't work out, we're going to cut bait with you. So I studied my ass off. I was good with people. And over time, I became one of the guys in the Southeast region that was doing things right. And it was all because at the time, the branch manager at Darsh took a chance on me.
Hey everyone, welcome to Beyond the Build, the podcast where innovation meets collaboration in the world of construction. We bring together thought leaders and industry experts to explore the cutting-edge ideas transforming construction equipment, supply chains, building materials, and workforce productivity.
This podcast is proudly brought to you by Faro, the revolutionary last-mile logistics platform, redefining how high-value, time-sensitive construction deliveries get done. Need it fast? Need it right? Faro.
Everyone, today we are joined by Michael Harwood, a high-performing outside sales rep with Sun State Equipment. Michael built his reputation on strong relationship building, relentless work ethic, and the ability to deliver results in a fast-paced, high-demand rental market. Today, we'll be diving into Michael's journey, what he's learned about navigating friendships inside rental companies, how great reps manage pressure, performance, and people in a constantly shifting logistics environment. Michael, welcome to Beyond the Build.
Thank you. Saturday, service call, Sunday, service call. I like to call that pre-Monday, and then we got Monday again. So,
yeah, when my wife and I were dating, she's 20 years ago, I remember it was like probably about 3:30 in the morning, right? I get a phone call. And you know how these go, rental calls. I was an outside rep at the time, and I immediately start cussing on one end of the line, and the guy on the other end of the line is cussing, and she's like, "What's going on?" I'm like, "Oh, it's just we're just communicating." I go, "Steel Rector just needs a 60-foot boom," and she goes, "Yeah, but you guys sound like you're pissed off," and I'm like, "No, that's just the way we communicate. We're good." But yes, it was like 3:30 in the morning because he forgot to do something or something broke down, and they had an early morning job, and it was a different time zone, and she goes, is this how it's going to be? Like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning phone calls? And I said, until I get out of outside sales, yes.
If you're like, no, sometimes they'll call it 1 or 2.
it's funny. It's the construction industry is one thing I've learned. It's like, the way we speak, it's like a dialect, right? Like Spain Spanish is different from Mexican Spanish, right? They have a little different dialect to it, and there's different slang and stuff like that. Construction industry is very much the same. We can sound pissed at each other back and forth, but it's just the way of the game. It's just getting to know someone and expressing, what they need or, how we're going to do it. It's pretty cool.
That is a nice way of putting it, Michael.
People call it business hours. There's no such thing.
No, we're salary.
Like, if I need you at 6 a.m., yeah, and your customer is the same way. It's like, if I need you at 5:30, 6 a.m., I'm going to call you. If I need you at 12 o'clock at night, or, in the morning, should I say, I'm going to call you. There's no, like, banker's hours. We're like, oh, leave a message and we'll get back to you tomorrow morning when we open at 9. It's like, yep, I'll do that twice. If you don't answer your phone and you guys can't produce, then guess what? I don't bank with you anymore or rent from you, right?
It's interesting seeing how people's view of what's quick and what's not quick. If you answer your phone, if you don't answer your phone, there's so many different rental companies out there that you can pick and choose from. It's mind-boggling to me that some people, they want what they want. They want that company to meet their needs, and if you can't do it, it's cutthroat. You're on to the next one. Someone else will be able to provide, and it's just a back and forth. That's why it's so, this industry is so fluid. It's so, it's changing. The same customer you have, 1 year from now might be, gone next week, right? And it's just a very interesting way of business, right? It's not like, doctors or lawyers or engineers for that set, they're stuck with usually what they have doing for the rest of the time. And the reason why I really, really like sales is our job is always changing. It's always something different. You know, tomorrow or yesterday is not the same from today, right? It's a very, very cool thing. And we make our own, we make our own schedule, and we do what we need to do. And every conversation is a little bit different.
It's not like an industry where like you're a doctor or somebody that what was yesterday is different today. You know, I've been a part of the rental industry for over 2 decades, and things change all the time. Not only do your customers, let's say, move from one company to another company, people get promoted, right? So an equipment manager that you used to deal with all the time, or a project manager moves project, that happens. But even in rental, you know, looking at a quick background, you were at Ahern, now you're at Sun State, right? ISRs, dispatchers, branch managers, everybody moves. So when you get comfortable, it can change on you really quick. Do you still see that happening quite a bit from internally where you're currently at? And then how often are you seeing that from your customers?
There's a lot of people that I've worked with who have either went to different companies, have started at the bottom as a wash rack kind of guy or an ISR, and they went on to discover, hey, this is not what I want. I want to move up. Maybe I want to become a branch manager, or maybe I want to go into sales, or maybe I want to go into management, right? Um, I see a lot of people who grow and develop through that, and they go through like an MIT program, so manager in training, um, or someone goes through upper management. So, um, they want to become a district sales manager. Okay, well, you got to start as a sales rep, got to learn the sales rep life, and then get into, coaching or managing or become a trainer, right? Like a sales trainer, and then kind of move up through that. It's ongoing is the best word to describe it. It's funny. An example that I like to use is, when I was 6, I wanted to be an astronaut, right? I wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to be an astronaut. I wanted to be, a garbage man, right? Well, over time, as we grow and develop, we get older, we have different things that we like doing, and we kind of follow that path. It goes up and down, sideways sometimes, and it's kind of like the rental industry. Um, you see people start from the bottom, right? They work their way up, and some people get to a certain level, they're okay with it, and some other people just leave. They'll go to a different, they'll go to a different company, or sometimes they get out of the rental industry. Maybe it's not for everybody, but um, me personally, um, I like seeing people grow and develop. I like seeing people, move up and get into the position that they want. Uplift them, get better. It's very amusing, right? It's very amusing, and it's heartfelt as well. I'm seeing someone reach their goals, but it takes time, right? Nothing happens overnight. So I see a lot of it. I also see a lot of people, jump ship as well, go to different competitors, or go to different industries. So like the rental industry is the rental industry, but it's not the crane industry, right? It's not specialty industry. It's not, you know, something like flooring or industrial, right?
Tools or
So
power, or yeah.
yeah, yeah. So everyone's their own person. They get to pick and choose what they want to do. But I will say this: the rental industry is very fast paced, and people come and go. Some of them go, quicker than others, but the ones usually who stay and follow their career path or whatever they want to do are the ones that usually stay in it for the longest, and they end up becoming friends and starting relationships with either other competitors as well, which I find it very, very interesting as well.
I have a quick question about your background and your degree, because it is Scott and I were just talking about this yesterday, about how no one uses the degree that they went to school for these days, or very few people. And yours appears to be in applied sciences, and here you are. It looks like you dabbled in real estate briefly, and then you jumped into rental. Was there some other experience that you had that drew you to the construction industry or the rental industry, or did you fall into it and just happen to find yourself on a equipment yard one day and said, "Hey, I'm going to stay," or what was that like?
Very interesting story. So, graduated from Michigan State, med school. Wanted to become a doctor, and if that didn't work out, wanted to go into chiropractic. Did some internships down in Jacksonville, shadowed doctors, surgeries, um, did all that kind of stuff. Came down. It was fun. It was great. I didn't like the politics of the medical field, and I was always good with people. So, I met someone at a bar one night, and he was in pharmaceutical sales, gene therapy pharmaceutical sales. So, he put a couple good words in for me and wanted to see how we could help out. Just two drunk guys talking to each other at a bar. And one thing led to another. I ended up interviewing for gene therapy pharmaceutical sales. Basically, I want to just recode mRNA or DNA and then go out and sell it to basically stop some pre-existing conditions. So if your family is prone to high blood pressure, you know, if someone has, heart murmur or heart problem, right? Future of medicine is going towards that to fix all that. So that's what I wanted to do. Well, I interviewed at pick a pharmaceutical company, Pfizer, Johnson Johnson, Merck, IQVIA, whatever, right? Pick one. Interviewed them. They all said, "Hey, you're a smart guy. We like you, but you need 3 to 5 years of business sales experience before we can have you on or even move forward." So they said, go get those, go get 3 to 5 years, and we'll revisit this conversation. So I applied to, 3 to 5 jobs a day, found myself in real estate, just kind of talking to people online and on the phone, getting an idea of, who wants a house or, a property or whatever. And I was like, "Oh, shit, this isn't for me. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be stuck in a cubicle and do this and knock on a door every once in a great while, right?" So I said, screw that. I'm out. Um, I applied to one job, and at the time it was called Ahern. So I went in there. It's funny, I didn't know anything about the rental industry. Came in with like a suit and tie on and everything, and I was like, "What does this dirty yard look like? Like, what am I getting myself into?" Right? There's just shit laying everywhere. And walked in, met with my old boss, Adarsh, and Jeff, and they're like, "Who the hell is this kid? Why is he wearing a suit?" Like, absolutely not. He knows nothing about it. And, Jeff was like, "Get him out of here, like, we're not gonna have him." Adarsh was like, "Hey, let's see how he interviews. Let's see how it goes." So I interviewed, they asked me 3 questions. First question was, "Hey, um, do you know the industry?" Flat out, no. Okay.
He's not a liar. Check.
Yep. Do you like, if I were to point at something, right? I have a little catalog and I were to point at something, would you know what it is? No. Okay. Are you a fast learner? I said, yes. So they kind of both looked at each other and they were like, okay, if we hire you, we're going to hire you on a performance projection plan, right? You basically have 3 months to figure it out. If it doesn't work out, we're going to cut bait with you. So I studied my ass off. I was good with people. And over time, I became one of the guys in the Southeast region that was doing things right. And it was all because at the time, the branch manager, Adar, she was, I think, 23, 24, took a chance on me. And I've been here ever since.
That's cool. And all that to say, now that you have your, 3 to 5 years experience, you're announcing your retirement from equipment rental and you are going into pharmaceutical sales?
No, I really like this industry. It's funny. I had someone ask me that the other day. Um, no, I'm not going back to the medical field. I want to stay in rental industry. It's something that I really, really enjoy. I really like. It's it's different, right? It's not for everyone, but I really, really enjoy it. I like creating relationships. I like building trust. I like being myself. Like, the construction lingo. It's okay to cuss every now and then, not at a customer, but with a customer, right? Can't do that in basically any other job. You'll get fired or kicked out or,
Yep.
you
Have
know,
a nice meeting with HR.
yep. So it's it's fun. It's something that I guess I've grown into and I really enjoy it.
Yeah, rental is definitely not for the faint of heart. Um, I've classified with people like, take a air traffic control center, put yourself in it because everything moves super fast, high urgency levels. But to your point, a lot of people are still figuring it out. I mean, when rental kind of pivoted, I wouldn't say pivoted, but really engaged in the specialty, right? JP mentioned, the pumps, the fluids, the tools, the climate control, all the specialty divisions. Most of the guys and gals that were in core rental, we're talking material handling and aerial, which is your core, scissors and forks. They were like, wait, what? What is this stuff? You're breaking down the kVA and the load balances for generator, so in distribution panels. I mean, when I pivoted over to like industrial tools, when we were still a core branch, we did all the oil and gas. So I had needle scalers and copus blowers and, a ton of welding and stingers and grounds and all these different cat classes. I couldn't tell you how many branches on the core side. They couldn't tell you the difference between a stinger and a ground clamp. But yeah, they could wrench you forklifts and scissors and air, booms all day long. So when you're talking about like industry knowledge, do you understand this? Kind of flip it around again. Well, you understand 30% of the cat classes that we have. Let's see how well you do with the other 70%. Because there's new stuff coming out. And as we begin to evolve as an industry, you find these niche markets. And sometimes these niche markets, you're like, wow, we're like printing money in these things. Rather than, okay, we had the same stuff and we have to compete versus how many, rental companies. Then it becomes a war of, okay, what's your rate? How many do you have? And if it breaks down, you're going to be faster than the other guy, right? Right. Okay. And now all of a sudden he goes back to the relationship and said, well, you kind of have everything apples to apples, but I trust Michael more than I do JP because you told me what you didn't know rather than pretending on what you did. It's one of those industries, like you said, man, you can be yourself, you can be honest and authentic, and you get to be real.
Michael, did you feel that early on, being completely naive to the industry, was that an asset or a liability? Were you able to be so confident that you just kind of winged it and just, kind of made it work with the things that you were good at in terms of personality and talking to people? Or did you feel it was a little bit of a fake it till you make it type of scenario or some place in the middle?
I didn't know what I was talking about, so I couldn't fake shit. But um, I I had to learn a lot, right? One of the guys that you had on here, Elliot, he was my trainer. He was my trainer. So I've learned a lot from him. Great guy. But
Like trainer one-on-one, or you just engaged with him with all of his videos
Right,
and stuff? I don't
Aaron.
know how.
hey, he
Yeah.
was at Aaron. Yeah,
Oh,
one
that's
on one.
right.
training.
I
Yeah,
forgot Elliot
yeah.
started at Ahern. That's right.
Yep. One on one. So he and I would ride
Nice.
in a truck together, and he taught me a lot. Just getting out there, just getting out of the truck and talking with people, um, made me learn a whole lot. The thing that people probably don't recognize, they know, but they don't recognize, is all of these guys in the rental industry, contractors, the sales reps, laborers, all of them, they're all kinetic learners, right? They like touching stuff, right? So, and that's the best way that people learn. They're dealing with blueprints, or they're dealing with machines, or they're dealing with something that's tangible, right? So the best thing for me to learn, or explain, or have someone explain to me, was going out and doing it, right? Literally going out and doing it. Someone could tell me something, and I'd be like, if someone said, "Hey, go up to the job trailer, go talk to, you know, the general contractor, whatever." I go, "Okay, that's great. Which job trailer? Who's the general contractor?" Like, I didn't know anything. I had no idea. So until I actually went out and did it, right? Someone had to show me how to do what I was doing. So to answer your question, it was a new way for me to learn. It's a little bit of a liability, but I never had to fake anything because I didn't know anything, right? It's kind of like doing calculus, but you don't know what a multiplication sign is. You don't know what an addition sign is, right? You can't do it. You can't fake it, right? So um, it's kind of built me up to who I am now, and you know, starting getting fed over to the wolves, you know, honestly was probably the best thing for me.
Interesting. So after that first 90 days, obviously they kept you. How did you feel after 90 days? Were you still like, did you still feel completely underwater, or had you like really just kind of crammed and felt like you got some feet under you?
I knew I was doing better, right? Just every single day you do a little bit better. Um, but I still didn't know as much as someone who's been there for at least 1 year, right? Or 2 years, whatever. Um, I was just competing with the next guy, right? So at the time it was, this guy named Eddie and myself, and that was all we had in Jacksonville at the time, and at Ahern. And then you know Eddie fell off. He went to go do something else, and there were two other guys that got brought in. Well, someone's been in the industry for 6, 7 years. Another guy was in the industry for 2 years, and we got Michael here, who's only been here for 7 months, right? Um, I was just like, okay, well, I don't want to lose this job. I like this industry. I got to be better than them. Well, how am I going to do that? Right. So I had to go bust my ass more. I had to go talk to more people. I had to go get the product out more. I had to understand people, create more relationships. You know, my workday didn't start at 6 or 7. It started at 4 or 5. My day didn't
And it
end.
ended later too, I
Yeah.
expect.
Yep. My day didn't end at 5. It ended at, 7, 8. Right. I didn't have some weekends. I would go out on some Saturdays as well. Not all, don't get me wrong. I like to sleep, but there were some Saturdays where I came out and I was like, I would drive by, you could easily pass something and be like, I'll take care of it on Monday, right? No, I didn't do that. They're there now, right? That's what I think separated me a little bit more. And that's why I got a little bit better at my craft. Um, and till this day, that's just something that I still do. That's something that um, I like doing as well.
You know, one thing I want to ask you is about mentorship, right? You're in outside sales now. You talk about people, their evolution, going through the industry. What have you done, or what have you seen done, where you're starting to take somebody that's like in the industry, let's say an ISR, and elevating them to like become an outside sales rep, and showing them there's a difference between getting on a job site and figuring out where the job trailer is and who the right person is to talk to. And oh, by the way, try not to interrupt their day because they're not expecting you. To somebody that's an inside that's never been on a job site, doesn't know the feeling of interrupting someone's day, and really is take the responsibility of like, oh, you called me because you want to give me a PO or spend money. So let me help you spend your money. Like, what kind of things have you done from a mentorship, or have you seen done to taking people and giving them a different viewpoint of the industry?
Um, Good question. I would say one thing that I've done is you got to show, you go in let's say it's a job trailer or an office or something like that, right? Um, Most of the people who are in inside sales or just getting into sales, um, they're used to doing something at a desk. They're used to doing something just single-handedly. They might talk to someone every now and then, but they're dealing with the same stuff over and over again for the most part. Um, be yourself, ask, don't be afraid to ask questions, even if it sounds dumb. Get to know the person as well. Um, I don't want to be, jerk number one walking into the office and he's already, dealt with jerk number two, three, four, five, whatever, right? Everyone blends into the same category. You have to set yourself apart. Um, One thing I like to do is kind of scan a room or scan an office, right? Most people, what they'll do is, they'll have like their loved ones or pictures or something like that on a desk. You know, One guy I just got done recently talking to, he likes to, take his family out to the Grand Canyon, right? He had a little picture of the Grand Canyon right there. Um, I'm not going to go in there and bust all of my, like, this is, we're Sun State Equipment. We have X, Y, and Z. We're right down the, like, I'm not going to do that, right? Because there's been 40 other people that have done that to him. I'm going to try to get to know the guy. Like, hey, I see that picture. Where's that at? Oh, it's the Grand Canyon. Yeah, I used to go there as a kid when I was a time too. How old's your daughter? How old's your son? How long have you been going for? Just kind of get to know the person, right? A lot of newer sales reps that are coming in from an ISR position or from, even like a yard or some people who used to be CDL drivers, they coming into sales as well, right? Everyone's getting into it. They're used to doing something a certain way, and they got to branch off. They got to get a little bit creative with, you know, getting to know people, right? It's not just like you're going to click, enter on a keyboard and okay, cool, everything's cemented. That's out of my head now. Like you always have stuff to either worry about or fix or um, not, I wouldn't say push off, but, you know, repeatedly keep doing, right? Um, you just get to know the person. I don't usually, most of the time when I talk to someone, I don't talk about work. They're at work. They hate work. They don't want to do work. Um, just kind of get to know the person. But when you're mentoring someone, you know, we were all there before, right? We all had to learn at one point in time. You teach the way that you best learned yourself, right? Me, I'm kinetic learner. I like touching stuff, right? I like actually doing it and doing it with someone, going into a job trailer with someone or presenting yourself as, instead of one person, two, um, makes the other person feel a little bit more comfortable because, hey, that person next to me might not know what they're doing, right? But, I do, or this person does, right? It's, you get familiar with it, right? And it's one big thing is it's okay to have someone say no to you, right? It's okay. Best thing, it's okay, man. Like, I understand you don't want this. Like, I'll be back next week, or I'll come back, whenever. Pick a time frame. It's getting the people who haven't experienced a sales life out of their rut, right? Instead of sitting down for 8 to 10 hours, right? Going out and doing things, making very, very educated decisions on, how are you going to navigate this conversation with this person instead of just answering the phone and say, yes, we have this, or no, we don't have this, and then hanging up.
Yeah, I mean, it's an art form. It really is. I learned it's not about the transaction or the sale. It's about the relationship and the
Hmm.
timing, right?
Yes.
Um, when you think about it, the art truly is selling by not being selling, but not in a way where people think they're being sold.
Yeah,
Mhm.
selling but not pushing.
You're steering the opportunity for, one short-term gain or long-term gain. And so by being genuinely inquisitive or curious, whatever word you want to use, it's like going into a job trailer. One of the things I found when I first went to outside sales, because, you start from the inside, like let's say wash rack, yard guy, then you move into inside sales and you're an order taker basically, right? And it's funny because there's a dynamic when in rental, right? There's the outside sales who get, oh yeah, those guys just play golf all the time and go to lunch and just call in orders. It's super easy, right? To the outside looking in inside and be like, nobody wants to answer the phone. It's the sales prevention team again telling me what they can't do and what we don't have. So you're like, you have this internal like friction. But then going out and, that timing, going on my first job site, because Michael, it's like they give you a territory. They're like, hey, go and call on these places. And you're like, okay, I know how to go to an office and talk to somebody that places the orders, right? It's more controlled and it's a one-on-one conversation and no one's staring at me like I'm the weirdo. And then they go, well, yeah, but that's only gonna get you so far. You actually have to go to the job site. And you're like, ooh, I take you back when you were interviewed. You're like, do I come in with my suit? They're like, no, I don't want a car from Enterprise. I want somebody that is like going to rent me a machine. So you trade in your suit for a pair of jeans, or in some corporations, pair of khakis like a Blockbuster salesman, and your boots and your shirt, collared golf shirt, right? Now you're ready because you got your hard hat and your folder and your business cards. So then what you do is you walk up to the first person you see with a hard hat. You're like, hey, how you doing? You need a scissors lift? And something. The guy's like, my boss is over there. I just got here too. And so you spend a half an hour trying to talk to people and being friendly to people that have literally no influence whatsoever. And you're like, I had this job site and I talked to like 15 people. And as a sales manager, I'm like, did you rent anything? No. Who'd you talk to? Oh, the guy that sweeps the floor. Like you had a hard hat on. Okay. So now you're trying to feel like, how do I get to the decision maker? And then you get that confidence, right? That you're not going to get by sitting in a module or behind a counter, right? To be able to confidently walk up and say, hey, bud, how you doing? Good, cool. Are you in charge? No. Where's your boss? Oh, he's over in the trade. What's his name? Andrew. Perfect. Thanks. And you just move on, right? And the guy's like, who is that? Is it inspector? And you read the situation, right? You're not a total flying in and out, total dick. You can have a conversation because a lot of times the people on the job sites will give you intel. So if you feel like there's a need to continue a conversation, continue the conversation. Might be a cool guy. You guys might have off-roading in common, but get that intel. Then move back over to the decision maker and be like, hey, I was talking to Bobby out there. He's saying the control box on the scissor lift is misfiring again, right? Like it's not engaging. I'm sure you guys are losing productivity. You mind if I swap it out with one of mine? I mean, we could do that. And he's like, I didn't even know that was going on. Well, I did the recon. I let you know what the problem was. Now you've just added value. You don't get that by being inside the counter. And then at the same time, Michael, you'll probably hear, you've done this as well, but you only have a limited amount of time in your day as an outside rep to field your phone calls, enter your Salesforce call logs, proactively figure out what you're doing tomorrow. And then sometimes, man, you're just sitting in a parking lot fielding phone calls for 2 hours. And you're like, oh, I haven't moved anywhere. And the mentor side comes of it is like, okay, let's do this. Who's my top ISR that wants to get into outside sales, right? Let's say it's Lisa, right? So now I go to my branch manager like, hey, I want to mentor Lisa because I already see she's firing on the counter. She's getting everything dialed in. Okay, cool. So Lisa, here's what we're going to do. Once a month, you and I are going to go to a customer together, and I'm going to introduce you to them. Now Lisa becomes their new best friend. They call her directly. She's got a relationship, and that's one less phone call that you need to field. And now all of a sudden, that relationship and that mentorship is thriving. And those are those little things that, like, I always looked. I'm like, we have leaders everywhere in our organization. And the cool thing is everybody looks from a different perspective at the same problem. Like, I'm not right just because my job title says I'm the branch manager. Hell, half the time I'm fiddle farting around inside answering emails that mean nothing. And you guys are doing all the work. But it's like that push and pull between what you see in the field, what they're dealing with on the inside. And it's like, how do we not just coexist, but how do we thrive together so that we all win?
I agree. That's why there's a lot of people that don't understand that, some people like in sales, they hate ops, or some people in ops, they hate sales, right? It's they have to live cohesively, right? We all have to live cohesively. And um, there was one guy, one of my old managers, very smart guy. You said it perfectly. Sales are the promise makers, operations are the promise keepers, right? Um, but in order for that to happen, there has to be unity, right? We have to trust one another. We have to make sure that everything runs smoothly. We can't keep barking at each other over and over again about something stupid, right? An attachment missing, or who's going to go grab it, or this needs to be done in the next hour. Like, why didn't you have
Why does
time to go?
everything need to be
Whatever.
7 a.m.?
Exactly. Yes. Yes. But yeah, I mean, we have to coexist, and without sales, there's no operations. Without operations, there's no sales, right? Um, there's just a bunch of people talking to each other and nothing getting done for the most part.
And you know what? For the listeners out there that in rental, we're in 2026 when this episode is going to be released. We're focusing on our rental operators. Right? In 25, we talk to everybody in construction. There's a lot of great content, but right now, going into 26, we want to talk to the people in rental that deal with the chaos. So if we get those listeners, I'm going to challenge all of you right now, regardless of what position you're in, right? Sales, understand what your operational constraints are, right? Ride with a CDL driver for 2 weeks and feel what it's like to make a U-turn in the middle of, whatever highway or street at 7 a.m. and why cross streets are so important and why not just getting one point of contact on the job, but two could really make the experience a lot better for all parties. Okay. And ops, right? And I'm talking to branch managers right now. Go back to when you were an outside sales rep. Remember the phone calls that you needed to make and what you were trying to, promise, because very few branch managers, including myself, because I'm going to throw myself under this bus, we were all sales. Hey man, revenue cures all. You got a problem? Throw more revenue on it and it all goes away. And you go into that position already gregarious and ready to motivate everybody. And then it's about anywhere from 6 to 9 months, the emails and the scorecards and the operational metrics start to basically flood the frontier part of your brain, and you become part of the sales prevention team. I call that SPT, right? And all of a sudden, the fun that you had in sales of making deals happen turned into, well, what's our delivery recovery? Oh, we can't do that because our OCNA. Well, why can't you get, 12 o'clock and get it for this rate? Like all the fun and air just completely leaves the building. So if you're listening right now and you're in any of those transitions or you've already transitioned, I would ask, like I had to do myself, stare at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, have I become one-dimensional? I'm challenging everybody to that. So hopefully that lands somewhere.
Michael, I wanted to swing back around to, we kind of touched on the idea that the life of an outside sales rep can be a little, call it chaotic. You can be pulled in a lot of different directions at one time. You're getting urgent calls. You have to juggle dozens of accounts. You have to manage rapid turnaround times. Is there anything that you have found, any systems or habits that you've developed that you would want to share with others that help kind of maximize your time and efficiency while managing, this large customer base?
Handle everything you possibly can in organized fashion. So, for instance, a lot of people, they'll get, oh, I'm on the phone with this person. Oh, I'm in another call right here. Oh, I just got an email. I have a text. Well, who do you handle first? Organize everything, that what came in first, right? You don't want to deal with someone who just called right now who needs something, next week, right? You don't want to deal with the guy who called, you know, last and take him first, right? Someone called you at 7 a.m., you're on a job site and you come back and, you missed, 4, 5, 6, 7 phone calls, whatever. Take everything in order you possibly can, right? I'm a big proponent of that. If someone called me at 7, I accidentally missed it. Put yourself on the clock. Give yourself, I have a stopwatch in my truck, right? I do this all the time. I'll give myself 15 minutes to make sure that this one specific email or phone call or whatever gets done within 15 minutes, or the order gets sent out in 15 minutes, right? Then I can go do whatever else I was doing, right? Handle everything in a most linear pattern you possibly can. Something happened before everything else happened, right? Deal with that one first and move on. The rental industry, especially sales reps in general, very hectic, like you just said. Um, we like to go from problem 1 to problem 4 and then back to 2 and then to problem 5. Then if we get 3, right? And now it's 4 p.m. and this guy needs something tomorrow where he called us or she called us or emailed us at, you know, 11 a.m. Well, why did it take 6 hours, 5, 6 hours to get to this person? Well, it's because we were dealing with 4 things at the same time. Just deal with one thing at a time. You can't do
Yeah, so
everything at once.
almost like a line cook. It's like you just take
Yeah.
it one ticket at a time in a busy kitchen. It's
Assembly
like, okay,
line.
what the order's next? Don't tell me about the big 12 top that just sat down and put in their order. They're 12 tickets, away. What's next on the line?
The person who you're not gonna get with 3 hours from now, right, is gonna be mad. The guy who just emailed you, 5 minutes ago, it's okay if you don't get to it right then and there. It's gonna be okay, right? You can get to him, 10 to 15 minutes later. It's okay. Or if you wanna shoot something off real quick that you know is not gonna take you a lot of time, fine, cool, but always get back to that one specific thing that came in first, right? Whether text message, email, phone call, whatever, always deal with that first. Um, I don't like treating customers as numbers, right? There's a reason why they're calling you to begin with. I don't give a shit if you do $1,000,000 or if you do $1,000 with me. It's respect, right? There's a reason why the $1,000,000 customer wants to do business with you, and so does the $1,000 customer, right? They both have the same reason. They trust you, right? But handle everything to the best of your ability in an organized fashion. Don't don't push stuff off. Never get chaotic. Just be calm and relaxed and do one thing in order.
To kind of dive into that even a little bit deeper, not even deeper, but I want to just a quick follow up. What are the kind of tangible tactical items that you found success with? Are you a pen and paper guy where you just jot down notes? Are you utilizing tools that are supplied by your company and you're using technology to make tasks for yourself? Do you use your email inbox as a task manager? What exactly would you recommend someone do to be that?
Before you answer that, I want to make one point, JP, on the last thing he was saying, so there's some clarity for people. When you say, I answer the phone and I handle the problems in order, I'm assuming you would agree that that doesn't mean sit with the same problem, because checking in with somebody and saying, hey, I got you, I'm on it. You could make a phone call back to the branch and start the wheels in motion, but then you're going to be waiting on someone else to give you information to give back to your customer. Don't just sit on that one customer. Then move to engage to the second priority and then follow up with the first one again, because it's not going to be a one and okay, I have to stay with this person until they're done, which then gets into JP's question about how do you write things down and making sure that I addressed this person. I answered their phone because they called me earlier than person 2. I've got an interaction with them. Now I have to ask somebody else, wait for a response, get back to them on why I'm waiting. I can get to number 2.
Correct. You're 100% correct. If you're dealing exactly what you say, if you're dealing with problem A and it's going to take a little bit of time to get to it, deal with problem B, then deal with problem C. Problem B might be quick and easy, cool, put the order in, done. Problem C might be the same as problem A. You're going to have to wait on something, but utilize your time management skills, right? You're not going to sit on problem A and wait for an answer for 1, 2, 3 hours, depending on how long it takes. And then go to, oh, okay. Oh, that's right. This guy got with me, 7 hours ago. Let's do that. No, you're 100% correct. Utilize your time management skills. But yes, Salesforce is great. However, I like to do all of my notes at the end of the day. I like to write stuff down. If you look at my truck, there's notepads and sticky notes everywhere. It looks it looks like a it looks like a Staples office. It's crazy. Um, I do like to write stuff down, but I write it in the lingo that I like to write with, right? So, you know,
Well,
nicknames or job
you wanted to be a
sites.
doctor, so you probably can't read your writing.
No, it's all chicken scratch. All of it's always chicken scratch. Um, but
Do you
yes,
remake your list every day, or are you
yes.
like put a post-it note on a post-it note kind of guy?
No, I will remake everything. And a lot of people hate me for that. A lot of people think I hate trees, and I don't.
Yeah,
But
that's
with
that's
my
that's something my
actions,
dad taught me. Is every day, and I don't do it every day, but I do it until the page gets full, and then I go to the next page and I rewrite down all the things that aren't crossed off. But every day, his habit was he'd look at his list from the day before. He would write down the things that weren't crossed off, and then he would add the new things that have come up for the day, and he would do that every day. He did that for 45 years.
I
Um,
would do that. And then at the end of the day, like when I'm done with my day, it's five, maybe not five, like 6 or 7, right? Then I'll go put it into Salesforce, right?
oh
Then I'll
wow,
have,
okay, yeah,
and then I
because you
will
still
have,
have to get it in the system, sure.
yep. And if you'll look in my mind and be like, oh shit, what did I do? And I'll look at the notepad and be like, oh, that's right. That's what I did. Right. And it's something that I will understand, or viewers, something, whatever you guys put down. Right. Maybe, you know, desk means something different. I don't know. I'm making this shit up as I go, but um, use your words that you would understand. Right. Um, that's what I do, but it's a fail safe. Right. I like to write stuff down on the fly. I like to keep it in my center console or on my dash, or sometimes I'll chuck it in the back seat. And then I will go and rearrange all those notes, put them into Salesforce, learn, grow and develop it. If there's a relationship I need to go touch on, I'll go put that in, log it, put in the contact, put in, job site, whatever it may be, right? And then go on and then rewrite my thing that I just did, check off what is done, what needs to be done, what is still needs to be filled out, what problems I still have to attend to. And then that's tomorrow's day. So now I'm not going in blind about, oh, what am I going to do today? Well, shit, it's already here, right? And I also have it logged in Salesforce. So if anyone else wants to know what I'm doing, there you go.
See how you reinforce that, JP? Because I can go into either A, sales manager mode, or B, SaaS, salesperson, and going, Michael, Salesforce is so easy to use that you could just open up your computer and type it and it's done. And the sales manager's like, yeah, make sure that it's in there every single day, right? And you've got an internet connection and, your laptop's fully charged and not a heated brick in your center console. But do you use different color notepads? Like red means, hey, I'm writing something down that requires an action item. And green means I'm writing something down that I probably should remember. And yellow is whatever came on my brain in the last 30 minutes. And I don't even know if I'm going to use it later. Do you have a color coding system?
No, I use lowercase or caps. That's all I got, buddy.
Important, less important.
Yeah,
I'm
that's all I
I'm an
got.
asterisk man myself. I'll just
I'm honestly, I'm going to be like probably the 1% here. I hate using Salesforce during the day. I hate it. It takes away. I don't want to do this when I can just write it down real quickly, and then I can go out and meet someone else. I can use all of that time instead of plugging something in throughout my day and go meet someone else, go talk to someone else, go to a different job site, go to an office and meet, blah, 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 blah. Go contact that one extra person in that day that might mean something. I can go do Salesforce when I'm ready to go to bed. It's relaxing. It's the same thing. It's a
You
little bit
mean they don't
repetitive.
give you a iPad that has internet connectivity that you can walk around like you're at an Apple store and just ask people questions and have it right there at your fingertips? You don't do that in
Oh,
rental?
absolutely not. No, I don't do that. Absolutely not.
How was your service today?
Because when we drew that up in the boardroom and all the salesmen, at our annual meeting, we're like, this is easy. This is great. I mean, the information's at your fingertips. And you're like, yeah, and why don't you buy a suit and look like an enterprise salesman too when you're at it? It's
Oh.
it's practical versus like theory.
The first time that we actually had to go do that, I walked into a job trailer. Um, Walked in, had all my stuff. Guy looks at me, he goes, "No," and just does one of these, like, turn around. Like,
Nope,
"Okay,
don't
all
need
right."
payroll software. I'm out.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I've had that happen to me before, a time or two. They're just like, nope, don't have time for you.
The only way you're getting in is if your laptop is sitting on 2 dozen donuts, right? And a case of Red Bull. You got that in your arms, then okay, set it down and I'll probably give you about 30 seconds. Go.
Yep, exactly. God.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I don't do that, by the way. Absolutely not. No. Mm-mm. I
What, the
refuse. I'll just
iPads or
do
the
all my
Red
stuff.
Bull?
Oh, no, I
Yeah,
love Red
old
Bull.
school.
The iPad stuff, I'll do it at the comfort of my house, and if someone wants to yell at
Gives you
me,
wings.
it does. It does. Someone wants to yell at me tomorrow about it, cool, I don't care. Slap my hand, I'm gonna do it tomorrow. That's fine.
Yeah.
You must have
Have
been
you
a
found?
dispatcher.
What'd
Those
you say,
people live
Scott?
off of Red Bulls,
Oh yeah,
ho-ho
dispatchers,
donuts, and
man. Yeah.
cigarettes.
Oh, yeah, it's, what do we call it? The industry breakfast? Red Bull, smoking, and, depression.
Yeah. And oh, you forgot anger. Anger too.
Yeah,
Yep.
anger as well. Yep.
Yep. I'm curious if you ever ran into issues because you're a relationship guy to the point where I bet you've made a lot of friendships. What you would kind of like where you have transitions from, someone who you was an acquaintance, but now they're a friend. Has that ever been a challenge for you on the sales side where you have such kind of a deep relationship with someone, um, where it presents a professional challenge? And how do you overcome that?
Yes and no. Yes to the question of I do have a lot of, relationships with customers now that are friends or close friends now. Um, Challenges, yes, I've had a few who have been put into some situations before. Um, it's you get to the level of, someone's asking you something, it could be a question you're not, comfortable with asking or telling, or a situation that they put you in. Um, Anyone who's listening, if you've had a time like this, just imagine that, right? Imagine that situation again. One thing I like to do is, I'll ask that person, "Are you talking to Michael as a sales rep from, business perspective, or are you asking me for as, you know, your friend Michael, what, you know, whatever the situation is, right?" Kind of gives them like, "Oh shit. Well, which one do I pick? Well, I kind of want this done or I don't want this done." And then let's say they pick friend Michael, right? Well, okay, well, as your friend, I would say, I probably wouldn't do this in a professional standpoint or a professional field because X, Y, and Z, right? Now you're building even more trust, right? Because he's asking you something personal, or he's asking you something, a challenge or something like that. Um, if it's business, you know, it's usually quick and easy, yes or no, right? But it breaks down the animosity. That's one thing, but yes, and other stuff. Some other things have happened before where, um, you get put into a situation where, well, hey man, like I'm going to be using it. I'm going to use this piece of equipment for this purpose, right? Do you think it will work? Well, hold on, time out. Like, don't want you to die, right? It's not meant for that. So, what would be your like? Why do you want it to work this way? Oh, because piece of equipment's cheaper, or it can do this. It's not supposed to, but it can. Like, man, I can't put you in danger. Like, I don't want to be the reason why you got hurt, right? If there's something even that I don't have, right? One thing I like to do is or start relationships with other people in the rental industry, right? Just because Scott worked for, what was it, United or okay, just because Scott, worked for United, like doesn't mean I hate him, right? He's got stuff that I need, right? That my customer might need, and he's got stuff that you know maybe I have that he doesn't, or an area or whatever, right? Um, One thing I like to tell customers is, hey, I'm not in that service area, or I don't have that exact piece of equipment, but I trust Scott, right? Scott and I have been friends for a long time. I trust Scott. He's very much like me. Here's his phone number. Give him a call. He'll be able to help you out, right? Now I'm getting with the customer and saying, hey, I'm being honest with you. I can't do this, but I'm going to fix your problem still. Here's someone else who can help you. I trust him. He's good at his job, and he's able to answer the phone and pick up when you need him. Boom. That's fine. Customer's going to remember you helping him out. Now, there's a gray line of, Scott now going after a customer that, Sunstate does business with, or Herc or whatever. But, you know, usually, I'm using Scott as an example here. We will come to terms with, okay, hey man, there's going to be people that I need help with, and there's going to be people that I know you're going to need help with, or I need help with. Like, we got this down, and we start a relationship that way, right? Instead of, nah, man, I don't got it. Call someone else. Boom. Well, now he's just pissed off. Right now, the customer, you're not taking care of the customer's need. Go a little bit above and beyond. Go make friends with other sales reps at different companies. Right? It's not. Don't learn to hate the competition. Learn to love the other competition. I like when people screw up and I can come in, but I also like when they can help out too.
Yeah, don't be afraid to like color outside of the box a little bit too. That's obviously something that when I left the equipment side of the industry and got into the tech side, right, was the whole brainchild behind Faro. Right, we knew we had internal resources, and let's say, for instance, your branch, you probably have don't know how big it is, but maybe you have what 10 drivers, 7, or a central dispatch to operate, something like that. Like as a rep, you're looking for that same solution that you just gave your customer, even though it's calling a competitor, right? Like operationally, I keep using the term SPT, right? Sales prevention team. Like when you call in and you're like, my customer, or our customer, should I say, you probably wouldn't even say my customer, our customer needs this piece like swapped out like right now. It's broken. And when you get a response back from your operations team, it says, Michael, what do you want me to do? All of our drivers are out, right? The service techs are out. You want to come in and basically swap it out? That's what we're going to have to do. Do you feel like, wow, okay, that's probably like the same thing I would have done, just hanging up a customer saying, sorry, don't have it. Or looking at it as like, well, I gave you a solution. I mean, you might not like the time frame the solution is going to happen, but I did my job. I told you the truth, right? It's going to be 4 hours. I was like, no way, that's not acceptable. There's more opportunity out there. Hence the reason why we started Faro. We've got 3,000 drivers like on the platform. And instead of you stopping a sales meeting or operations going, well, the first driver back is going to be 4 hours, and just tell your customer to hold on. Now all of a sudden you can go in, book a Faro. We got it in and on the job site in less than 2 hours. Customers like, Michael, your solution was like fantastic. You guys, your delivery recovery actually goes up and everybody won. I think that's the perspective of saying like, hey, am I part of the problem or am I creating solutions? Even if creating a solution might look like a bad metric on the P&L. You're like, no, it's not. Like, by the way, you're like, I can get you $150 delivery on this because it's an emergency. Pharaoh's going to charge you maybe 95 to 105. We're actually making money. And oh, by the way, we put something on rent. Like last time I checked, that was a solution for everybody. But that's that out of the box thinking of saying like, no, I'm going to go above and beyond. I'm going to look for an opportunity for all of us, create a solution rather than be like, sorry, my ops team said the first delivery we can make to you is 12 o'clock. And the customer's like, okay, book it, when they really needed it at 9. And then all of a sudden the new rep comes in from, another rental company, goes, oh yeah, I can get that thing there for you at 6. He's like, hey, Michael, sorry, man. I really need it. I'm glad you can get me that at noon, but I got to come from somebody else because they can get here by 7. And you're like, damn it. Right? Use a different resource.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it. Creating solutions. For a really good way of putting it. But yeah, absolutely correct.
So
Sweet.
when we get to Florida next year,
yeah,
I'm sorry.
Florida next year, we're gonna give you a bunch of solutions.
Oh, perfect. I need it.
Yeah, we're coming to Tampa in Q1 as it turns out. So the timing is funny.
Good.
I wanted to pivot to kind of help land this plane because there's something else that I noticed that you mentioned when we connected to have you on, and that was that you have some or give support to the American Cancer Society, and I wanted to just take a moment to unpack that just a little bit, see what that means to you, and have a brief discussion about it.
Yeah. Very, very, when I first started, we had to pick and choose, basically around the branch and stuff like that, what you want to give back to. And one thing that is very important to me now is cancer research. I lost my mom when I was 21, back in 2017. And, one reason why, I don't like the holiday season is because I just remember her in the hospital, right? And I hated feeling that way, and I don't want anyone else to feel that way. And it's still hard now, but it's good to give back, and it's good to have support and make sure that no one else has to go through the same thing, that a hardship like someone else has, right? So more research the better, and it's something that is very near and dear to me. And it's something that I like to do, and I give to, and Sunstate also gives to as well. So
I know, my wife actually is in cancer research pharmaceuticals. So, she was on the phone right now trying to get with the insurance company she's in CAR T therapy. So it's where they spin your genes up curing leukemia, right? Curing stage 4 leukemia, right? And, just hearing the stories of, to your point, the patient, or the person, I don't want to call them a patient, the person that is struggling there, and then the family members that are also struggling with them. So, I'm sure you're doing it already, but anything that you guys, if you're part of that cancer society, like to give from a monetary or even just providing your presence, right? Of giving somebody that might not have a family member to talk to, just some type of peace, right? A connection. There's so many ways to be a part of it, I would assume.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad that we were able to give a little shout out there. It's a great organization, obviously something that needs continued support so that we can continue to improve and overcome things like that, and just make patient outcomes all the more better. So, well, great. It was a fun chat. Looking forward to, I guess, well, we might try and have someone say hi to you over in Tampa in a little bit. Yeah,
We can say hi. We're gonna do a ride along with them. Michael's gonna tour us all the branches and be like, this one delivers. This one's a hot mess. This is the person that loves Marlboro's not cools.
Yeah. And Michael, I don't, and forgive me if you know this, Scott, because I don't, but do you know anyone within our organization, or is like, I know that we have some, similar connections like Elliot and things like that, but do you know anyone else on the team? Because a lot of them come from rental. So,
I honestly, I don't. I thought you
that's
guys
okay. I was just
were.
curious because sometimes I'm in the dark of like Scott knows like half of everyone, if not more, in rental. So I'm never surprised when it's like, oh yeah, I know this guy. Oh yeah, like I've met this guy before. So
I've there's probably some names that I'd be like, oh, I've probably heard of. I haven't met a whole lot, but I know obviously Elliot. But I don't know. I wanted to do this. I wanted to make sure that people are seeing this and they're viewing this and actually getting something from it, but not just the big names or anything like that. So
yeah,
well,
great.
What if I talk to Nordy? I'll be like, hey, Michael was part of like the
yeah,
evolution
go ahead.
of this.
I met him what 2 months ago, something like that, when he came down. Yeah, very very interesting guy. Very
Him
interesting.
and I worked
guy.
together at United together.
Okay.
So
Okay.
not directly, but it's as a big organization, and you've been something in it for 20 years, and across the country, nationally, and a bunch of divisions. You either can be known for, oh, I know that guy, or wait, that guy's still alive. Like then I'm talking about me, not Nordy. So I'm like, I'm the same. Like, okay, if I'm infamous, what is it for? Is it positive, or oh shit, he's back?
It's funny. It's a on-running joke with a couple of my friends and coworkers at Sun State. Once you finally realize, like once you've been here for a few years, the whole rental industry in general is just a bunch of bald guys running this thing. Literally, it's just what it is. It's funny. It's really, really funny. It's true too. We see a lot of bald people here. So if you want to be bald, stay in the rental industry.
Come to rental. Yeah, it's all, and it's not hereditary. It's just from this.
Yes. Yank it.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Well,
right,
hey, thanks, Michael. Appreciate you taking the time out. Looking forward to working with you and or your team in Tampa coming up in the new year, and wish you all the success in your career as you can just continue to say yes to your customers. And, I was going to say, put fleet on rent.
Yep.
Yes, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, everyone, that is a wrap for today's episode of Beyond the Build. We took away some real valuable lessons and insights, and I hope that you did as well.
If you enjoyed this episode, we would ask that you subscribe so you can never miss an update. If you're a thought leader looking to innovate in the construction industry, let's talk. We'd love to connect and hear your thoughts.
You can find Beyond the Build on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, plus anywhere else that you listen. And if you'd like to learn more about how Faro is changing logistics in the construction industry, please visit our website at faronow.com.
Once again, thanks for tuning in. And until next time, be humble, serve others, and make an impact.